as you may have noticed, when we started off as a very large group, and then slowly we became fewer and fewer and fewer. And that is essentially what happens in business. And it's a very normal process, isn't it? Because, you know, the stats of people that are entrepreneurs, not everybody is an actual entrepreneur, isn't it? It is a journey that is there for all those that actually really want the journey. And so what we want to do right now is just give you a little bit of a recap to find out how things actually are for you guys since the first time that we started. Have you taken any action, and what sort of places are you at? Has there been any action from the time that we started? And maybe I can go ahead and call out a few names here there, and then you can just kind of map out what you've actually done from the first time that we started. If there's nothing that you've done, then it's okay to be able to take this opportunity again to, you know, to ask us to revisit some things so that we can, you know, we go through some of those conversations again, okay? So let me just find out. NG is saying, is there a difference between dom care and home care? NG, I think dom care is a terminology that is used more in the United Kingdom. Home care is used more in the United States, but it's the same thing, really. So that's excellent. Mimi is saying, Mimi's been getting the business known in the circles of the trade. And Mimi's also been working on something really exciting. Gail is saying, sorry, Carol, can I reply on message? There's noise in here. Yeah, by all means, Gail, go ahead and reply on the message. And Shungu is saying, hi, I'm a first-time attendee. Okay, Shungu, so feel free to ask your questions from the place where you are, where your thoughts are. Right now, it's fine for you to be able to ask from that place, because this is still an opportunity for people to be able to freely ask about supported living business and map their way. And that. So I wanted to say that Mimi has also been working on a very exciting part of the business hub, which will also let you know towards the end of this session today. Okay, but Mimi's been doing a lot on the international business hub. And Shungu is saying, I've registered with CQC, but I'm struggling to get clients. Okay, let me just see Shungu's question there. Okay, all right, and who else had a question there? Let me just see, or a comment. Guys, because, you know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, a business person, information and collating of information, Elizabeth is saying CQC registered but struggling with getting contracts, okay? And Gally, you typed something there, but I think I just missed it. Business registration to obtain DBS and purchase policies, that's Clara. So well done, at least there's been some action. Chipo, who is best to use to get policies from? Okay, so Chipo, have you actually taken any action, or you're still at the point of collecting information? And Shalom is saying, how do I get registered as a CQC manager? Around CQC and CQC registration there. So people have taken action around CQC and around CQC action. Okay, and Chipo is saying, I'm still at the point of collating information. Okay, which is great, Chipo. Okay. All right, and I noticed there, Gail is saying, I'm waiting for feedback on bank account to be confirmed, then I get my financial viability signed, then I submit my application. Well done, Gail, well done, well done. So at least there's some action there, isn't it? So, you know, let me just see if anyone else has got anything to say. Vivian, I see you are here. Welcome, Vivian. What action have you taken? Vivian, let's find out as well from you. And Chaka is saying, I've got an interview date. Fantastic, well done. This is absolutely exciting. And Gail is saying, I've done my financials. So that's absolutely brilliant, okay? And so there's questions there around getting clients, isn't it? Okay, so we've answered the issue of getting clients before. So remember what we said about, you can either go down the route of tenders, which is what most people want to do, isn't it? Most people think, okay, let me get a tender. Let me quickly get a tender. Then we spoke about the bespoke services. And then we also spoke about spot contracting. So you know, a few years ago, GPs are also now commissioners, isn't it? So they also commission services. So your practice, where you go, where you are a patient, you can actually start from there if you're someone who's doing dom care. If you let them know the service that you're providing, you book an appointment with your practice manager and have a conversation with them. You'll be surprised that you actually start getting referrals straight from there, as long as you've got your CQC registration. So also if you go on your local authority, wherever that you're based, and you go on business with that particular local authority, and you register yourself as a micro business, basically. you also can be able to get contracts outside of tendering. Okay, so you don't really need to fuss and fight over that. And Judy's also saying your VARA report. So your VARA report, I think we spoke about this as well in one of our other sessions. And that's really good for your market research, for you to understand the needs that are in your area, so that you can be specific in how you do that. And in terms of subcontracting, you can subcontract really with an existing business. So you might want to subcontract, say, with ourselves. You then decide that you want to do sort of, the dom care side or whatever, or go to Mimi or whatever it is. And usually with subcontracting, how it would work is that you would get the clients, but then you would have to work under the brand of whoever the main contractor is, the person that holds, or the company that holds the contract. And you would be working pretty much under their terms and conditions in terms of the contractual obligations that they have to maintain that contract. Does that make sense? So there's different ways there. So that's maybe gives you a bit of insights there for the person that was asking about getting contracts. Okay, all right. Let's just see who else. I think there was quite a few people who were saying they've just had their DBSs, or they're just registering their DBSs, or are waiting for their CQC interviews, or have just had CQC interviews. So you're kind of wanting to kind of migrate again from there, from the CQC and advancing it further. Okay. So, all right. So let me just see if there's any kind of...
Just how much you would need to have to start up the business. So to run the business, yeah.
To get it going. Okay. Yeah. So for supported living, I think maybe, I don't know whether you attended some of our sessions before, we were describing supported living and what it is. And we were describing, the fact that they supported living with accommodation, they supported living without accommodation. I don't know if you remember those ones. So essentially, the supported living is like an umbrella term, but you according to your experience, your market research, and all these other things that we're talking about in the back office, you then decide which side of supported living that you're going to be approaching and delivering. So for instance, we talked about the regulated services and the unregulated services. We talked about sort of the learning disabilities, complex care, all of that. So there's many different facets to it. As such, then there's also sort of supported living with accommodation or without accommodation. And so if you're going to be looking at supported living without accommodation, then your costs are going to be really your HMRC costs, your payroll costs, and maybe the cost, sort of transport costs for your staff, the usual sort of cost that you probably would incur while you're doing dom care as well, except that the hours are maybe piled up together, which is different to dom care, which might be like 30 minutes at a time. If you're doing it with accommodation, then you may have the accommodation element as well to consider. And when you have the accommodation element, properties are ranged depending on where you live, anything from £600 to £1,600, sometimes up to £2,500, depending on the landlords and your negotiation skills. And then you will have the additional cost of actually running the property, your maintenance costs, your all of that. But then you can also factor that in your pricing as when you get your contracts. So I would say, I think when we covered it before, we said that supported living is something that is, if you're going to do it with accommodation, you need to have quite a substantial amount of money to be able to do that, because although you can get a contract and get be on a tender or whatever, and even be getting referrals through, you may not get a client in the property. And many people have gone 6 months, a year, sometimes a year and a half before they have an actual client convert. So getting a contract is the start of the process. How long it converts is how long is a piece of string. So you have to be prepared yourself to go the long haul. And the reason why we're having these Zoom calls as we are doing now, and making sure that we're taking time with the process, is because we don't want to waste time with people who were not ready to take the journey for the long haul, and perhaps people that want other people to do the work for them. Because if you're going to be running your business, you have to own it yourself. We can only be there as a support network, but you have to be the one that's actually doing the work and doing that. So you've got to count your costs before you do that. Okay. Yeah. So if you're looking for a figure, I would say if you're doing a calculation and you look at maybe a property that's going to cost you 1,200 times 12 months, I would always plan for 12 months to at least have a 12-month kitty with me. Then you want to be looking at your council tax cost, your electric, your gas, and everything else. And think about the fact that if there's no client, how you're going to be funding that, okay? But I will tell you that once you get your clients in, all that money comes back within no time. So it's within no time at all. I mean, you get it, you make it back within 2-3 months. You've got it all. So it really just a matter of what you know, how much you want to take it forward. Okay. Let me just see if there's anybody else with a question, and then I think we'll allow for maybe 1 or 2 more questions before we also give you further information about what's going on.
Someone's asked here, how long does it take to get an interview from CQC once application is submitted?
Okay, for me, that's variable on the area where you live and how many other applicants are there. You know, it really is variable. That is a question that you would need to have directly with CQC themselves, so that they can let you know what their waiting list is, and especially now with COVID and everything going on. So we would need to find out how many inspectors they have who go out and what they're doing in terms of the processes in the area where you are. Okay, so if there are no other questions, guys, the next step that we're going to be taking now is that we've been having a lot. We sent out some emails. Some people got them, some people didn't get them. I don't know why that was. Some people got into the trash, so I don't know. So what we're doing today is that at the end of this session, we're sending out an email again, okay? But this email now is more specific. The ones that we had sent out before were not. But this is now more specific, okay? So I think we spoke earlier on about the one-to-one sessions, didn't we? Where then we would take you through a process for each individual. So what we'll be encouraging you to do now is to go in and book your sessions, okay? So on the email, you'll get the email there and the link. You need to then book your sessions, and then you will have your one-to-one session with myself or with Bonani, and then we can then be more specific to you as an individual. So how the course will run is that we will do 2 one-to-one sessions, okay? And then we come back for a group call like this, and then we do another 2 one-to-one sessions, and then we finish off another group call, okay? So after that, the 6 sessions, you're supposed to book in 6 sessions, okay? And each session is £50. All right, that's the £50 that we were talking about before. So then I would be wanting you then to go and book in your one-to-one session, so that now we can go more specific on your business and make sure that we're kind of getting it to, well, obviously not us getting it to that level, but helping you and supporting you to then take some action. So that during this COVID period, if you move and get momentum and get things going, then you're likely then to cross over to the other side of the economy on a better footing. All right. So you will be getting your emails today. Again, we're resending them out. You'll be getting your emails today, and then we would then be expecting you to make your booking for your sessions, and then our admin team will get in contact with you as to what the availability of the time is like. All right. Is there any questions around that?
Bonani, I did send an email, I think directly to you as well as in the group, but for some strange reason, I haven't received anything.
No, like Carole's just explained, we had sent some emails before, but I think the email that we used might have sent some emails to people's trash, because some people say that that's where it went. But now we've done a more specific email, which is about what Carole has just explained. And the reason why we waited until today is because we're finalizing on the terms so that, you are happy, and we are also taking on people that are really serious about moving forward. So the email is going out soon after this session. By morning, people will have that email, and then we'll wait to hear your responses then.
As you notice, maybe the way that we've been doing things in this group is we're moving from stage to stage to stage. And we're doing that very intentionally, okay? Because you've got to get into the habit, if you're going to be somebody who's running your own business, of moving from different stages and not just morphing in one place. Okay, and the sessions will be at least an hour each session, okay? Unless you need a bit more, it will be at least an hour each session. So before you come to the session, then you will give you some work to do. You come, and because they're work groups, okay, they're work hubs. So it's you who has to go and do the work. So before you come to the session, you'll come with, having your individual plan or whatever that you're thinking, and then you'll have some homework to take away with you, and then you come in again. So you can book your different days, but you've got to book in, you can book around your schedule, but you've got to be able to book your 6 sessions together.
So sorry to ask, because I joined the group in the middle of the WhatsApp group being created. So in terms of the groups, are we paying anything? How does it work? Because I'm not sure what the group's purposes are. So sorry if I'm asking silly questions.
Okay, in terms of which group, my love?
I think she's asking about the work groups.
The work groups.
Okay, so yeah, for the individual sessions that we're going to be doing now, they are £50 per session, and each session is 1 hour.
Okay.
And it's more specific to your individual needs and where you are. So we said we'd give a cohort of six sessions, okay, so that you can be able to outcome it yourself and actually monitor your own progress. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there's no point sort of just sitting in a WhatsApp group and doing nothing. All right. Any other questions, anyone? Before I ask Mimi just to also speak to us, because there's other information that we want to also let you know around the international groups. Okay, so make sure that when you get your email, take action and book in your sessions, and then we will go through that. We'll have, as I said to you, we'll have a midway group 1, and then we'll have an end one. But if you need more, you can keep coming. There's no problem. I just want us to be able to do things that are measurable. Okay. All right. Shan is saying Trish asked a question above. What did Trish ask? I can't see the question.
She's asking what is the difference between dom care and supported living whilst you're caring for an individual in their own house?
Okay. To Trish and anyone else that is here, I think right at the beginning when we first got together, we said that you needed to go and subscribe onto the Carole Nyakudya YouTube page, because we were going to be posting some of the information on there. So if you get a moment, go ahead and listen to some of the sessions that we've done. We've posted them on the YouTube page. You can get that clarity as well. I'll just briefly let you know the difference between dom care and supported living. I suppose both have to do with looking after somebody, but as we described earlier on, supported living, I suppose, is more about promoting independent life skills, whereas dom care is more about personal care, and maybe that is the marked difference. Of course, you still promote independence, but with the dom care, it's more about providing that personal care around the activities of daily living. The supported living is more about independent life skills and promoting reintegration back into the community. So I guess they're kind of on different ends of the spectrum, although you might have some overlapping, how can I put it across? Overlapping what?
Needs. Yeah. Sometimes both of them, dom care overlaps with supported living, because as much as someone might need care in their home, they're still probably young and want to still engage within the community. So they might need both services. And this is where, like what Carole has explained before, that you might have to create a service that doesn't just call themselves dom care, but also does other activities. Then you could sort of combine their supported living with the dom care, because they really because if you think about it, it's about the individual. What we're doing here, calling them dom care and supported living, those are all commissioning benefits, really. It's for them to classify their money. But at the end of the day, you are looking after your brother, your sister with needs that they have, but they just have to be funded in different ways. If you think of it like that, it makes it a little bit easier, I guess.
Okay, so as I say, thank you very much for that, Bonani and Mimi. You will get your emails tonight, and you will be able to take our healthcare businesses further. I also want to be able to let you know about the opportunity that is there There are some entrepreneurs who already have existing healthcare businesses or who are running healthcare businesses. But in our business hubs, what we also wanted to do was to encourage people to also think beyond just the industry of healthcare, and also think about the other opportunities that are there within the business world. And we also have an international business platform where you can then be able to access other opportunities for international business. And at the moment, Mimi has been offering and running a project to do with international tendering. So we thought maybe it might be good just for you guys to get a little bit of information around that. And also then if you want to be part of the international business hubs, then let us know and you can connect on there and look at what else is available. That one is more open, not just to people in the UK, but other people who are in other places, because it's really about skills transfer and looking to see how we can partner as businesses to create strong economies together. Okay, Mimi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you very much, Bonani, and everybody else who's here. I'm sure you could be doing something that is earning you loads of pounds, but you chose this time, and I will guarantee you've not wasted it. I personally am a newbie to supported living, and my dom care took off finally after runarounds. But the spirit that has been born I like to call it a post-COVID spirit, because it's like the entire country of immigrants suddenly realized that dom care and supported living are alternatives to shifting. So I really want to appreciate Carol for putting this together and running with it amidst a lot of negative comments. And it's not easy. It's like she's carrying the world on her shoulder, and then someone saying, why are you doing this? So I really appreciate, and I'm one of the biggest beneficiaries in the sense that I've always had a passion of digital working, given my background in engineering and in IT. But I worked in IT, I never worked in engineering, so it was always bugging me. But with the advent of the internet and what we are able to do, look at us, 40 odd people here, and we progressing with our work by just connecting virtually. So when Carol set up the International Business Group, I think it may actually have preceded the other groups, if I'm right. And a friend who's in tracking added me to that group or sent me a link, and they said, hurry up before it fills up. And they knew that I love things. And so hurry up before it fills up. And then I got in there and people from all over the world expressing what they do. And then I was like, wait a minute, I do tendering for a living. And a lot of the opportunities that we tender for are for the developing world, where we come from. And the majority of the tenders are not won by us. They're won by foreigners, European Americans. They win those tenders for the most part, and we only get a little piece of the pie. So as part of, I used to run for a very long time financial and corporate literacy programs under the 1873 banner. So I was always passionate about getting people on board on things that we think are so far-fetched, are so far away from us. So whenever I get into a space, I want to share, I'm hungry to share. So a colleague then nudged me, well, why don't you do it as a program for health and social care? I was like, I've never done health and social care focusing, but I will give it a go. And then I was like, oh my goodness, they're the easiest tenders. And I said, okay, let's take opportunity in this platform and deal with where the real money is, where the corporate money is. I work for an organization that does that for a living. And my salary, my annual salary is probably earned in a week. And I was like, and this is from our countries where we were born, where our parents were born. So we set out to do it was Sunday, wasn't it, Bonani?
Yeah.
I just saw a couple of tenders on the UNDP portal that looked like there were actually about 4, one from Tanzania, Rwanda, and the other 2 from Zimbabwe. And I thought, let's see if we can tackle. They looked like a typical tender. And then I threw it in the international group. And we had a session which was haphazard, no structure, but people like yourselves came together and we tackled it head on. The spirit of volunteerism ascended and people just jumped right in and said, let's do this. By Monday, we were organized and structured enough to start pulling together what is required. And today we're miles ahead. We're cracking on a tender which requires several experts. And on our second meeting, we had an expert, international renowned expert, join our team through a friend of mine that said, Mimi, I saw your advert yesterday and the subject matter interested me. And we managed to get this gentleman and on our call, and he's like, how would you like me to help? It's like Bill Gates joining you while you're doing coding, and then Bill Gates says, how can I help you? You start wondering, shall I say coding? Shall I say vaccine? Shall I say, what shall I say? You don't know. So that's where we were at. And it was last night after our organized meeting last night. Then we said to him, we would like for you to do our bid review. And after, because he's such an expert, you will see right through it. So, and then he responded, but of what you're doing, remember, they must know ABC. This is somebody who's taking their time out, their precious time. They're so valuable. This person in real US dollar terms is a millionaire. And when he started, he had nothing. He had lost everything, but he built himself with confidence. And here we are on a platform where we are cultivating each other, boosting each other's confidence. And we know time is money. And we got together, we said, okay, everybody committed and said, if he needs to be paid, we'll pay him. And then I went back to them and like, who talked about money? If I wanted payment, I would have said so.
Oh, is that what you said?
That's what he said last night. So this is where we are. So I said, let's just pull the resources just in case. But he's not even, you know, when someone is helping you and they're not asking something in return, then you know it's God. So we want to really move on. And then the second one, we got someone, we've never met all these people, but they believe in the vision. They're following the organization and the structure. So there's an audit trail of where something lands. So whenever you're organized enough to receive, something will happen. And I just wanted to encourage, we actually had to close the meeting up so now we're only advertising the meetings internally because we're carrying people's sensitive details. We've got a company that has given us its accounts, its everything to bid with. And again, it's coming from a millionaire. So we submit to UNDP with $1 million accounts, and we are just health and social care people in UK. But God has favored us and made us able to network with such organizations. And we can work towards building our own organizations to be in that position tomorrow. So that's where we are at. So we're working on an exercise where once this is submitted, those that want to be in the pool of various tenders, it doesn't matter where they are in the world, we can bid for them. And tendering is comprehension. And if you love reading, writing, and understanding English, there are things that obviously experts will then be able to tweak the secrets of the trade and the like. But because you're lucky and fortunate to have people that are already in the sector, let's make use of each other. Look at Carole's volunteering information. Even before we sign up for the one-to-one, a lot of us must admit, I'm one to admit, I've learned a lot from people sharing. I've gotten to know, oh, there's that organization signing up there. Hey, I'm new, see me, how can I participate? So I really want to appreciate everybody that has encouraged me. You look at the response sometimes and you only get one person and then you say, let's do it. It doesn't matter, there's one of us. And then the next minute you are 10 of you. The next minute people are like, let me in, let me in. So people, I just want to thank you, and particularly Bonani and Carole, for encouraging the spirit of volunteerism and of generosity. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mimi. And I'm really, really honored to be amongst people like yourselves. You know, all of us on this platform, you know, are great people. I have a great belief that, you know, for us as African people and Zimbabweans, there's a bigger destiny than what we allow ourselves to imagine. But, you know, that's a conversation for a different day. For now, what we need to do is to be able to plod forward, is to be able to, you know, if you want to be part of the international hubs, then let us know as well. There are opportunities to do with funding. There are opportunities to do with investors. There are opportunities to do with stands and properties. There are opportunities, as you heard there from Mimi, to do with tendering. So it's a whole lot of things, and you know, renewable energy and all sorts. But it's a whole lot of things that we then need to be having the conversations about. And perhaps I think, you know, even as Africans, I think part of our mandate is to be able to build strong economies. I believe in very much the Joseph model, that we have been sent to certain areas and certain places so that we become Josephs. And then, you know, it really just depends as to when we are called in for where we came from. But that's essentially it. If there's any other questions, or if anyone's interested in joining the international hubs, then you also let us know. But for those that are doing supported living, you've got the understanding and the journey to travel. Is there any questions right now so that we can see how we move forward? And is everybody here? Has everybody put in their email address? Okay. I take it the silence means people have had a long day and are quite tired. Okay, so yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you and on a one-to-one, and you know, sort of having our journey moving forward. That thing that says Africans are bad people, we need to change that thing. We need to start, you know, instead of us complaining all the time about Asians do this, we need to start being African people of substance. And this is going to be very exciting for us all. Let's do this thing.
Is there any more questions, guys, before we go?
When is the next one?
Oh, that is one thing we forgot to say. This is the end of the Zooms, guys, the free Zooms. So the next Zooms we're going to be having will be the work groups. And what we forgot to mention is the work groups will have no more than 20 people per work group.
I just want to find out, I think one thing that I'm struggling with, I've just sent in my, I've applied for my CQC qualified DBS.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I really like to crunch numbers. So I'm not sure how much I would be able to pay to employees. If I can just have probably a rough idea so that I can sort of try to have to work out an estimate of what is made, the income that comes from dom care.
Can I take that, please?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Pauline,
Yes.
I'm glad you like to crunch numbers. And that question, that is absolutely specific to your business, your area, everything about the local authority you're serving. And it's one of those things that the one-on-one will benefit you. But what I want you to have in mind is think of why you went into business. What attracted you? What are your costs? What is your intended profit margin per hour, even drilling it down? And that's one of the questions that when I'm doing consultancy, I like to drill it down to individuals, because it can be, for example, Oxford is expensive, but the rates aren't that different from London. London is doubly expensive. And then you've got the Southwest, it's got its own rates. And it's got, you'll find the Southwest might even have higher profit margins than Oxford. So for example, Oxford is 3% profit margin. And you've got big companies like Home Care Limited pounding on the council to say, increase the payment that you give us so that we can pay carers best. So these are some of the intricacies of your own sphere that would really benefit from the one-on-one, because it would take us conversing and going into detail, for example, even a week, and say, okay, you've gotten this from Care England has published this, and the government is saying this, but this area is saying this, but you're getting this excess from your business and you are comfortable. And like in my case, I said, I'll pay everything to the carer until I'm good because I've got another full-time job. So all those things cannot be answered in a one-size-fits-all. It has to be specifically tailored to your business.
And maybe to also add on to that is, as Mimi said, you're looking at yourself, isn't it? That's one of the things that we do cover in the one-to-one sessions, is looking at yourself as the driver of the business and looking at your individual purpose, your skills, combining that. And then there's also looking at the direction that you want the business to take. For instance, other dom care providers only pay, say they're sending somebody far away, to an area that is an hour away, they will only pay for, say, if they've got a call that's got 30 minutes each, they'll only pay for the carer for those 30 minutes, because that's what the local authority is paying them. But for us, we felt that that was unfair as an employer to send someone for 10 hours, an hour away from their home. So we used to pay for the whole 10 hours, and we were running at a loss for a long time. And it forced us to then get to a place where we increased our packages and that. But then when we started to grow, the support workers continued to be happy, even though they were now doing more, but they continue to be happy in their roles. So as Mimi said, it really just depends on you as a person. But obviously there's a cap, minimum wage. You can't really pay someone below minimum wage. I don't know how people that do the live-in models get away with it in supported living. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Very.
It's just always be fair, guys. Let's be fair employers. Let's consider that. If you were the one that was working, how would that look like for you? And sometimes it's better for you to have a little bit of a cut, and it actually drives you to build more, but to have a happy staff team. So at least minimum wage for your staff, because your minimum wage, we pay above the minimum wage, but at least minimum wage. Then for your benefits, you then have to consider that you factor in about £2.50 per person per hour for HMRC that you have to pay anyway. So if the local authority is paying you, say, £14 an hour, you can't promise the person £14 an hour because you still have to pay HMRC. Let's get the feedback, guys, please. Elizabeth, beneficial. I was skeptical initially, but I'm now informed. Leona, thank you very much. Session was very helpful. Pauline, very generous with information. And Shan, very helpful and helped to clarify certain things. Shungu already commented about the session, very informative. Yes, you had, Shungu, thank you. Pauline, very grateful. Simba, great information. Okay, fantastic. All right. And Gelly saying, "Ina with Carol with your team close." Oh, Gelly, that's really lovely. Please come. We've got a big enough office, don't we, guys? So you can come. So that's really lovely. Thank you so much. Clara gained a lot. So that's great. Okay. So would you recommend us to other people? I'm really enthused and excited. I know it's super informative. Thank you very much, team. All right. Would you recommend us to thank you, the spirit of Ubuntu, and Clara is saying, God bless you. Would you recommend us, yes or no? I see that you would recommend. Thank you very much. So please go ahead and actually take action and recommend, okay? So thank you very much. That's the final thing that we'll say. Please go ahead and actually recommend to others, and let's do this thing, guys. Okay, we've got to go now. We have overstayed our welcome, but thank you, everyone. We're going to love you and leave you, and we'll see you on the WhatsApp groups. Thanks, everybody. Take care. And those that want to join the business hubs, you'll be seeing us in the business hubs and in the international groups as well. But so let's build these businesses and make Zimbabwe great again. I can't go anywhere without saying, make Zimbabwe great again. Huh?